welcome to the Stellar Way for Course Creators. This is a YouTube channel to help you be able to design, create, and launch your online course. If you are new here, subscribe to this channel and don't forget to hit the bell notification so that you can be alerted of each new video that's uploaded every week. Today, I would like to answer the question of how do you structure your online course in your learning management system. So let's first have a look at this question. And before we jump into answering this question, let's look at how do we know what an LMS is, for example. So a LMS is a learning management system. There are many different systems that are available for online schools, for training businesses. Now they may be a online course content system, they might be a learning management system, they might be a student management system. For purposes of this video, we will be talking about a system where students launch their online course. So we won't be talking about how we manage student data, we're just focusing on the learning side of it. So we're looking at the learning management system. And when you do start with online courses, you don't necessarily need a learning management system for your first or second version of your course. There are alternatives. However, if you are wanting to scale, if you are wanting your courses to be more automated, then it's time to look into a learning management system. So why can they be so confusing? If there are so many people that use learning management systems, why are they so confusing? So each learning management system has a very different infrastructure that sits behind what you see. So that infrastructure as well has very different vocabulary between different learning management systems. And on top of all of that, the interface that we see is also completely different. So that's what do we see that we then input information into. What we see has different vocabulary, and the infrastructure or the hierarchy of all of the data behind that, all three of those change between learning management systems. So of course it's going to be extremely confusing when we try to look at moving our curriculum or our content, our course outline, to a learning management system. So let's have a look at how we can align our course outline with an LMS. So let's have a look at these examples. Now you've heard me in this channel talk a lot about course curriculums, and it is so important to build your course curriculum so that you know what is the goal that your students are going to achieve and how are you going to help them be able to achieve that curriculum or achieve that goal. And that is creating a learning journey. If you would like to read more about or watch more about curriculums, about goals and learning outcomes and competencies, they are available in this channel. I would put the links down below as well so that you can learn about each one of those individually. For purposes of this video, our curriculum, let's have a look at what our curriculum would look like. Our curriculum will have a goal. It would then have a module or a bundle, which is not always in a curriculum. It depends on what your curriculum is. So this is the only one that's optional. You have your goal, an optional bundle or module. Then you would have your learning outcomes, your competencies, and all of these would then help you define what lessons you're going to create, which is your content types. So then when we look at that and we compare it to Kajabi, for example, Kajabi, their infrastructure and their vocabulary is that you have a course name, you have a category, you then have subcategories. Now I've written these in a way that we would see that if you have a bundle or a module plus your learning outcomes, you would then have to put them both into categories, which we'll have a look at soon. Now if we refer to this in Thinkific as well, if we compare all of this to Thinkific, Thinkific has 3 different levels. So our curriculum has 5 levels, Kajabi has 4 levels, and Thinkific has 3 levels. So when we try and put our 5-level curriculum into 3 levels, it starts to get confusing. So here's an example. Our course name is our goal. Our bundle is our chapter. Our learning outcome is our chapter. Our competency is our lesson. And our lessons are our lessons. Okay, so this in itself is confusing with all of this different vocabulary. So let's have a look at an example of how I've put a course into Thinkific. And I would like to show you how I've structured this in a Thinkific free version and how I've structured this in a Thinkific paid version. So let's have a look at how we would create a course with bundles in Thinkific using their free account. In the free account, we have 3 courses that we can use, and we don't have the option to use any bundles. So in each course, we have 3 categories, which are our course name, our chapters, and our lessons. So my course that I will be displaying is a course that's to sell an online course. And in this, there are 3 different modules or bundles: design, create, and launch. So what I did was I created a course that had the goal of the course name, which is to sell an online course. This is the overarching course, or the overarching goal, with 3 bundles in it. Then I created each module bundle was a chapter. And these were design an online course, create an online course, and launch an online course. Now, what I had to do was, because I only had the option to create multiple chapters, I blended my modules and my learning outcomes together. So what they looked like when I blended the module and learning outcome was this: design, the planning, design a course outline. So then what I did was, for each chapter, the title would start with design, and then the learning outcome would end here. Now, this is not how you would write a learning outcome. It is just a nicer way of displaying the title of the learning outcome. And then we have the competencies. Now, these competencies and your lessons are blended together. Competencies and lessons are like, the competency is what someone needs to achieve, and the lesson is how they're going to achieve it. So what I did was that the competency became the lesson title. Why is a course plan important? And then the lesson became the lesson content, which was a video with a text. So we can then see this here is my curriculum, and we can see how I've created that in a Thinkific free version. Now, if we were to convert that into a Thinkific paid version, it becomes a little bit easier, because what I do now have access to is a bundled feature. And what this means is that I can create a bundle, like a bundle name, and underneath this bundle is when I group courses together. So now what I've done is I have the opportunity to have 4 levels in my hierarchy. So 3 of them belong to my course, and 1 of them is a bundle when I group multiple courses together. So here I have a bundled course name of sell an online course. Then I have 3 different courses. These 3 different courses each have a course name, which is the module or the bundle: design an online course, create an online course, and launch an online course. Then my next level is my chapter, and that's where I put in my learning outcomes. And then each lesson in that chapter are the competencies and the lessons from my curriculum. So each curriculum can be completely different with completely different levels. You might have a 4 hierarchy level if you don't have any modules, or if you don't have any bundles. You might have 5 levels. And then when we're converting that to a different platform, a different learning management system such as Kajabi, Teachable, Thinkific, it then becomes difficult, because we're trying to align our curriculum and our different infrastructure or hierarchies of our curriculum into a learning management system that has a different structure, a different hierarchy, a completely different infrastructure. So I understand why it is, or it can be, so difficult, But when we look at this in a structured way of mapping the curriculum to the learning management system, it becomes a little bit easier to then start to convert your curriculum to your learning management system. That's all from me today. Happy course creating, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.